Gamers, how's it going? Master Duel Central in about 9 hours at the time of recording this video. Master Duel is going to go under maintenance for the brand new pack that's coming, and so I figured it'd be a very useful resource for you to give you a little bit of a showcase for all the new decks that are coming. We got a couple of confirmed rarities on the leaks. We already kind of knew these cards were coming, and now we know some of the rarities. So do I think you should hop into this pack? I mean, honestly, I might want to hold off, even though I do think, don't get me wrong, this pack will have an impact on the meta on some level. Like the Lightsworn cards, I think are going to make Tearlaments even stronger, and I do think that the Lightsworn Tearlament build is likely to become the most popular build for the deck. I've been testing it, and not only is it really fun, but it's also really, really good. It is kind of a solitaire deck, though. At the end of the day, you're going to be pressing buttons for a long time playing that deck, so might lose the timer a couple of times. At least I might, because that happens to me a lot. Also, the new plant stuff is going to be really, really good. Now, of course, plant not necessarily the best deck to play into max C, but you still have the Rikka line to set up the trap, which doesn't take too many summons, and just the Aroma cards as well as the Ragnaraika cards are going to make that deck play through a lot more interruption. Currently, plants lose to like 1 interruption. Now plants have so much gas that they'll be able to play through multiple interruptions, and they're going to set up a ton of disruption. They also have some good non-destruction removal, which is very useful in the matchup against Duel as well as the matchup against Fire King. So I really wouldn't be surprised if you see Aroma / Rikka / Ragnaraika do really well. Oh, / Sunavalon. Dude, just plant pile. Let's just say plant pile. You'll probably see that deck do pretty well. And you might even get jump scared by Ancient Gear. Ancient Gear, being a going second deck, is definitely going to see some play because it's just so easy to go for game with this deck. Now, the Duel matchup does kind of mess with it a little bit. So I'm not 1000% on this deck really seeing that much play. This is definitely going to be one of the more iffy picks for the new pack, mostly just because it's not the best format for it, but it is kind of like bargain bin tenpai, so if it's not too crazy expensive, it might see some play. It's definitely not bad. It's a very, very consistent OTK deck. It's just Duel being kind of an issue. And then Genex is kind of like a funny meme. It's kind of broken, like it's absolutely broken, but it's also like super, super fragile because like the deck will lose to a single interruption. Like if you imperm their link monster and they don't have the out to the imperm, they will just pass on nothing. But if you don't imperm their link 1, I'm going to show you the combo for Genex. It is crazy. You'll get to like normal summon and search like 25 times as if you're playing like Floowandereeze on crack. So either way, I have a lot to go through today. So we're going to be looking at, different lists. I'm going to be showing you basically like some potential builds you could do for Master Duel, not necessarily deck profiles, but just like builds adapted to Master Duel, since like most of these decks, most of what you're going to find are OCG and TCG builds. But I tested for the Master Duel ban list, and I'm also going to have replays for all of the new decks. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, of course, the cards are not out yet in Master Duel, and so we're going to be looking at all these lists through yugioh Omega. This is a really, really good platform to test lists before going to Master Duel with them. If you're not sure about a new deck or something and you'd like to just test it out, train with it before building it, I highly recommend getting your hands on yugioh Omega. Just look that up on Google, and it'll send you to a Discord, and you can download it from the Discord. It is a really nice platform. But either way here, as you can see at the top here, we have a list for every single new deck, and yeah, a lot of this stuff is really awesome. I guess we're going to start off with what I think is going to be the most impactful, which is going to be Tearlament Lightsworn. So this is my list, and obviously when it comes to like these pile decks, there are so many correct ways to play it. As you can see, we are playing a strange Snake Eye package with no Promethean Princess. The funny thing about Snake Eye package is that like a single bonfire without using your normal summon will net you into a Curious, and then Curious can like send the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, or if you have it, it's even better if you can send the Trivik Karma. But basically, you can use Bonfire or Snake Eye's Engine to get into your Tearlament plays and start getting your mills going. So that's very, very important and very useful for the deck. I'm also running a Sinful Spoils, just in case, because sometimes the removal can be really useful. I am playing 2 Left Arm Offering, 1 copy of Grass, so that's basically like 3 copies of Grass. Going first, you can bait out all your opponent's interruption. Then if you have 2 cards left in hand, go Left Arm Offering and just search Grass and basically win the game from there. And then going second, you have 3 Thrust, which is also going to net you a Grass is Greener. So really we have like 6 copies of Grass in the deck. Your odds of seeing it are not too low, but even if you don't see it, keep in mind, you don't really need grass in this deck. I mean, the Lightsworn cards plus the tier cards will get you so many mills that it's actually kind of insane. And then the Lightsworn cards add a lot to Tearlament. Like, I really like this one here, Lightsworn Dragonling. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one dragon monster from deck to hand. So you're going to be adding the punishment. This one's not new, but punishment dragon. And this card can shuffle 4 banished Lightsworns from your banished pile into the deck to special summon itself from hand. And it has the quick effect of shuffling all banished monsters and all monsters in both graveyards back into the deck. So this is like a shuffler on crack. It is insane, and it'll help you recur resources. For example, if you banished a lot of cards with snow, well then, you know, you can shuffle back all your Tearlament cards that you want to see again or stuff like that. So it adds even more to the crazy grind game of Tearlaments. So yeah, I really think Punishment Dragon is going to be a really good payoff. And also on summon, Dragonling can send any Lightsworn card to the grave, and what I like sending is Lightsworn Aegis. This is a new trap that we're going to be getting, and if this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can just set it, and then on opponent's turn, this card can negate face-up cards up to the number of Lightsworns you control. So this can be anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 cards getting negated on the field. It's a really strong card. I really like Lightsworn Aegis. I think it's awesome. So personally, a big part of my goal with this deck is usually to set up like 1 or 2 at least Lightsworn monsters on the field with Lightsworn Aegis in the back row. But because it's a pile deck, it's not really always about, you know, getting the exact board you want. It's more so just about seeing what your hand gets you. As you can see, I'm not even running Max C in this deck. We're really just going all gas. I'm only running Ash because I want to be able to negate Max C. So, you know, 3 Ash and 2 called by, because I'd like to negate Max C. But even if we get Max C, I mean, this is Tearlament. We can play into Max C quite well. And going second, I just wanted to put as many good mills as possible into the deck. So that's what we're going for. Either way, let's go check out my replay. All right, so as you can see here, we have Grass and Rhino Heart. So we're just going to be going basically like full ceiling here. So we're going Rhino Heart, send Sharon effect. We're going to shuffle back both, summon Kit Kalos, send the Tear Cache, mill a couple more cards. Kit Kalos, summon the Tear Cache, trigger both Tear Cache and Kit Kalos, mill a bunch of cards. Then we get to trigger Rhino Heart, you know, summon the Roll Kalos. In the graveyard, we get to trigger our Meta Noise to add back Solic. Then we go Grass is Greener, summon Destrudo, make a Baron. Then we can banish Original to search Poplar, and we can activate Poplar in hand to special summon itself. Poplar is going to search a Sinful Spoils of Subversion, because obviously we used Original to search the Poplar. Now we're going to set Solic, pop Solic with Baron de Fleur, just so we can search Sharon. Then I'm going to go Sharon, special summon, discard the Rhino to get a couple mills. We mill the Lightsworn Dragonling, so we can search the Divine Punishment Dragon. We're going to go Imseti, discard, you know, search the the Sarcophagus. Now we can go into Curious since we have 3 different dark monsters. Oh, I want to point this out. That might have been confusing. So the whole Snake Eyes line kind of revolves around summoning Verte Anaconda, but it's not to fusion summon. It's just to make a monster dark. So that way you have like 1 dark monster, you make another random monster dark, and then you have like in this case, I used Imseti as the 3rd dark monster just to go into Curious. And that way, you know, I can dump some cards and just keep playing from there. So here we go. Now we're going to summon Felis the Archer. In the grave, we have the Perform Mage. We make a Minerva. Minerva on summon can send Lightsworns to the grave up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as material for her summon. So now we're going to summon Dragonling. On summon, Dragonling can send the Aegis to the grave. Aegis is going to set itself in the back row. And now we can make ourselves a 2-material Appaloosa using the Curious. And we mill a Wolf. Now we've got 1 Shuffler, and we don't have Snow yet. Anyway, yeah, okay, so basically what my board was, sorry man, the way replays work in this game is a little confusing, but what I set up with this turn was essentially I can omni-negate 3 cards at once because I have 3 Lightsworn monsters on the field with the Synchro here and the 2 level 4s here, which means I can activate my trap and omni-negate up to 3 cards on the field. Then we have Baron, who is hiding under the word lose here, who is also an omni-negate. We have obviously Rule Kalos, and we have Appaloosa with 2 monster negates on top of Ash in hand. And, you know, it's going to depend on the turn. You know, here I could have also decided to make a Abyss Dweller with these 2 and shut off the graveyard and then just use this trap to negate 1 card on the field. So, you know, it's really up to you at that point what you want to do. You know, I feel like Dweller is a good option. It's kind of matchup dependent though, so really up to you. But yeah, that's about it for the Tearsworn Replay. It's kind of hard to showcase this deck with this like simulator, just because like there's just so much stuff going on at once, like, you know, and it's not super clear. So I'm sorry about that if it was looking a little bit messy, but don't worry, this is the first deck that I'm going to make a deck profile for once we get the new box, because this is the one I'm enjoying the most. So you're definitely going to be getting a dedicated deck profile that's a lot easier to follow once these cards come out. All right, and next up here, let me just get plants out of the way. So this is a plant pile that is heavily inspired by Jessica Robinson's list. I did modify it, of course, because we're playing Master Duel here, so Maxi is a problem, right? Because Maxi is really, really good against plants, and so I'm running a lot more hand traps and less board breakers. I'm basically running everything I can run that will stop Maxi in its tracks. Other than that, though, I do think the deck is still really crazy, and it took me a while to learn the one-card combo line with Sunseed Genius Loki. Now, I don't think I'm going to be making a deck profile for this deck, mostly because I don't really like this playstyle. I don't really enjoy it, but I did go through the trouble of practicing the deck just to learn how it works, so that I can show you the one-card combo with Loki, with the new stuff, with the Aroma cards. You know, the Aroma support is really, really cool. Rosemary being able to set up a Aroma blend, which is going to get you into your Humid Winds. This is going to cost you life points, and you can pay life points and search again with Aroma Seraphy Jasmine. You can use the graveyard effect of Aroma Blend to fusion summon into Magnolia. Magnolia is going to stop all of your plants from being destroyed while it's on the field, so this is a nice protection effect. And then when it comes back to you, you can pay 2,000 life points to banish a card on the field. Kind of wish the banish was a quick effect. Like, I don't think this card is the best card ever, but I do think it looks really, really cool, so, you know, I had to include it in the combo. All in all, though, this Aroma support is really going to help the deck. So without further ado, I'm going to just show you the combo. It's a pretty long combo, and I didn't really use Ragnaraika in my combo because I'm just doing the Genius Seed Loki combo, but we're going to look at Ragnaraika later in the video. Don't worry about that. All right, so for this replay, I started off with just putting 3 Sunseed Genius Loki in my hand, or Lochi, I don't even know how to say it, but basically this is a 2-card combo because, well, it's a 1.5 card. Basically, you need Lochi and a discard, so we're going to be discarding this Lochi. We'll end the combo with just 1 Lochi left in the hand, or Loki, whatever, the Sunseed, you know? So anyway, we start off with normal summon Sunseed, then we go into Dryas, and we get to search Sunvine Sowing, activate Sowing. We're going to get to summon the Sunseed Twin. Twin is going to activate, and Dryas is going to activate as well. So Dryas is going to summon out the Healer, and Twin is going to summon out the Sunseed from the grave. Then at this point, we make an Aroma Seraphy using the Healer and the Dryas that we controlled. And we also use the Sunseed and the Loki to make another Dryas and summon a Healer. Neither of these cards are once per turn, but I'm not running 2 targets for Dryas. It's just that Healer on summon will target Dryas, gain us 300 life points, and trigger the search effect of Jasmine. So, you know, she's on summon, gain some life points. Jasmine triggers since we gained life points, and we get to search Lilyboria. So now we can go for Lilyboria effect, and we're going to equip it with Sunseed Loki. Lilyboria effect, send the Loki to the grave to grab Therion Discolossium. At this point, we can go ahead and use the tribute effect of Jasmine. So Jasmine has 2 effects. She has an effect to tribute a card she points to summon a plant from the deck. That's a hard once per turn. But then her effect of searching a plant monster if you gain life points is not a hard once per turn. So you can summon Jasmine again later in your combo to search again. So here we tribute, we summon Mudan. Mudan is going to search us a copy of Concon. So we search Concon. At this point, we can go into our link 3, Aroma Lilith Rosemary, and Rosemary is going to search Aroma Blend from your deck. This is really good because Aroma Blend can then set up Humid Winds. So you make yourself a Aroma Jasmine, or Aroma Seraphy Jasmine, using your leftover Healer as well as your your Mudan. Then you activate this Colosseum. This Colosseum is going to search Regulus. You can go for Regulus and equip it with the Therion in the grave, so that way you get an Omni Negate on the field. And then you can activate Aroma Blend. It's going to place Humid Winds face up on your field. This is a searcher for any Aroma monster. And then Aroma Blend also has a graveyard effect later in the combo of fusion summoning, and it can use Aroma monsters from your grave as well, which is nice. So here we go, Humid Wind, pay 1,000 to search Aroma Lilith Rosalina. And at this point, we're at 7,600 life points, which is 400 less than our opponent, which means we'll be able to use the second effect of the trap to gain life points, which will then proc both the Jasmine effect of searching, and it's also going to proc the Rosemary, which lets you special summon a Aroma monster from your hand. Well, up to 3 Aroma monsters from your hand, essentially, if you gain life points. So here we go. Activate the Humid Winds. and we gain 500, trigger both of these. So we get to summon this, and we get to search a Rikka Princess with the Aroma Seraphy Jasmine. At this point, we use the effect on summon of Aroma Lilith Rosalina. She can just summon an Aroma monster from your deck. And then what we want to do is make ourselves a Benga Lancer the Resurgent. This card is really cool because you can use it as tribute fodder during your combo, and then you can bring it back also using its graveyard effect. So it's going to be a nice quick effect bounce, you know, a really strong interruption during your opponent's turn, but it's also just a card that recurs itself, which gives you like a free resource basically. So here we go. Activate Rikka Con. We special summon Rikka Princess just to control a Rikka monster. And then we can use Rikka Con to set up the Rikka Glamour on the field. At this point, we can activate Rikka Glamour, tributing the Benga Lancer, and we can search a Rikka monster as well as another plant monster with the same level. So we search Snowdrop, the Rikka Fairy, and Therion Lily Borea. At this point, I had to get lucky a little bit. I made Sylvan Dancepion, and then I triggered the Dancepion hoping to get a summon here, and I did get lucky. Basically, Dancepion can level modulate, but I didn't even need to. Normally, I would have modulated, you know, 2 monsters she points to level 4, but we got a level 4 from it. So what we're going to make here is we're going to make a Strenna with these two. Now, I do want to point out that yugioh Omega is bugged, like their version of Strenna is bugged. So this card, if it's tributed, you can special summon 1 rank 5 or higher plant Xyz monster from your extra deck or graveyard. Then you can attach this card to it as material. This effect does not work in yugioh Omega. So you're going to see in my combo, Hyperton is supposed to be on the field and it's not, you know. So just keep in mind, like when I did this combo in the game, it gave me like an error log basically when I tributed the Strenna. But so basically the board is even better than it's going to look at the end. Just imagine that Hyperton is on the field because it should be on the field. You'll see when. So let's just keep going here. We make this card, and then we use the effect of Snowdrop to tribute our Strenna on the field, and we get to special summon 2 level 8s. This is where this should have triggered. Like, this should have triggered, but I got an error message in the game. I'm just saying Hyperton technically is right here on the field right now. Just want to point that out. But anyway, we make Teardrop the Rikka Queen with our 2 level 8s. Then we can go for the graveyard effect of Aroma Blend, use an Aroma monster in the grave as well as another plant, and we can summon out the Aroma Lilith Magnolia. Then we can summon out the Benga Lancer from our grave by banishing link monsters from our grave whose link ratings add up to 4. And at this point, this is basically the full board. Again, just want to point out, Hyperton is supposed to be here. Their Strenna is bugged. yugioh Omega, please fix Strenna. But yeah, Hyperton, or whatever, however you call this card, it's supposed to be here. And it's a nice monster negate on top of the quick effect monster tribute, on top of the Omni negate that you have, on top of the quick effect bounce that you have. So this is all a 1-card combo. It's a really good combo, and if I already had Rikka Glamour in hand at the start of my combo, I could have had an extra interruption by setting the Rikka Trap instead. So that's why you're running 3 of the Rikka Glamour in the deck. So it is kind of a pile deck where like your hand is going to modify your board quite a bit. So I can't really go over every single thing you could do with plant, but I hope this little showcase helps you if you're a plant fan, at least seeing what the new cards can do and how they can help, you know. Also, we have this card here that's protecting from destruction. I forgot to mention, yeah, all our plants are indestructible by card effect. So, you know, that's pretty useful. But anyway, I'm sick of talking about plants, so moving on. All right, and I said I would talk more about Ragnaraika, and I wasn't lying. We're going to be using Naturia Ragnaraika as a way to showcase the Ragnaraika engine. It's a really cool engine. So basically, this engine locks you into plants, reptiles, and insects, and that makes it really, really good for Naturia as well as other decks such as Rikka Plant pile thing. There's a lot of decks that can make use of this engine and be a lot better thanks to it. One thing I really like, and what I'm going to be showcasing in my replay, is that 1 copy of the Evil Seed nets you into a setup Aroma Seraphy Jasmine, which basically means that you'll be guaranteed to be able to get into like a Camellia. Now, obviously, I'm doing a 1-card combo, so my setup won't be as good as if like I had this card plus other cards in hand, but I really just want to show you how 1 Ragnaraika, the Evil Seed, can add so much consistency to a deck that often gets really awkward hands, such as Naturia. So we're going to go check out the replay right now. All right, so here we go. We have Ragnaraika, the Evil Seed. This card on normal summon can search 2 Ragnaraika cards, and then it banishes 1 of them. So we normal summon the Ragnaraika. We search the insect as well as the Ragnaraika Wicked Butterfly. Butterfly is the card that we banish, and then Samurai Beetle can special summon itself by shuffling back the banished Butterfly. Butterfly also, since it was banished, Banished has an effect where at the end phase, you'll get to draw cards up to the number of link, insect, plant, or reptile monsters you control. So usually this is going to net you like one draw at the end phase, which I mean can be useful. But either way, we're going to go and shuffle it back into the deck to summon the beetle. Then we can go into the Ragnaraika Link 2, which is Skeletal Soldier. And the Ragnaraika Link monsters are really, really cool. All of them can shuffle back insect, plant, or reptile monster back into the bottom of the deck in order to special themselves from the graveyard, which is really good because Naturia loves to be able to recycle Camellia just to be able to like use its effect again and send a trap, stuff like that. You know, oftentimes you need your Camellias in the deck so that you can trigger your Mole Cricket in the grind game and generate advantage. So this is actually a really, really useful effect. And this Link 2 is good because it'll special summon a Ragnaraika monster from the grave. And also Samurai Beetle actually has an effect if it's used as Link monster, as Link material, I mean, to special summon an insect, plant, or reptile level 4 or lower from your grave. So we basically get to bring back both of these from the graveyard, which means like we get all the material we need to set up Aroma Seraphy. So, you know, the beetle targets the Ragnaraika Evil Seed, special summons it, and then the Link 2 special summons the beetle. And then with them, we make our Aroma Seraphy Jasmine, and then Jasmine is pointing to a monster. So with Jasmine, we can go for Camellia, right? So we summon Camellia. Now, what I like to do just for this one card combo is I'm actually going to set up a blessing so that I can bring back Camellia on turn 2. But obviously, if you had more cards, it might be smarter to like just, you know, set up a Mole Cricket or something like that. Do keep in mind, because the Ragnaraika cards lock you when you search with Ragnaraika the Evil Seed, that means you can't make Naturia Beast on this turn. And oftentimes you'll want to set up a blessing to make Naturia Beast on the opponent's turn. But either way, we summon Camellia. Here I send the trap, you know, Sacred Tree, and we can search the Naturia Blessing. Then we can use these two to go into the Ragnaraika Link 3. And the Link 3 can actually search by banishing. We can search the Ragnaraika Hunting Dance Trap. So this is just like a pop 1 on opponent's turn. Not the best thing ever, but it's definitely going to help. And keep in mind, this is all a 1-card combo. Obviously, if you have more gas in your hand, you'll get a lot more than this out of it. I just wanted to show the amount of value you can get off of like just one copy of Evil Seed in hand. So we get a draw in end phase. We draw into the Biru off of the butterfly effect from earlier. We have a pop 1 with the trap here, and we have Naturia Blessing to summon Camellia, send Sunflower, or send Mole Cricket on opponent's turn, and then Camellia will be able to bring that back, you know, and generate advantage. So we pass turn. They draw, we activate Blessing, summon Camellia. Camellia is going to dump Mole Cricket here, and then if they summon anything, so if they normal summon, this is a bot, obviously they're going to summon like Kozaki, we get to bring back the Mole Cricket, and then Mole Cricket trigger. Here I decide to use the Camellia effect milling 2, and we summon the Sunflower. So now we get a monster negate, or if I decided to just tribute my Mole Cricket and not mill 2 with Camellia, this would be 2 monster negates on top of a pop, and this is all off of just the 1-card combo, right? So at this point, we can go for the trap, pop a monster, it comes back to our turn, and now I want to show you another cool thing. So traditionally, Naturia can struggle with going for games sometimes, but the Ragnaraika Link engine is really, really good at going for lethal very easily. So I have to show you this. Just the ability to shuffle back and bring back your Link monsters helps you get basically like somewhat like pretty much exact lethal. So let me just show you what I mean here. So we're going to go for the graveyard effect of Skeletal Soldier, shuffling back Camellia to summon it. Then I can go for the effect of the Mole Cricket, summoning a Camellia from the deck. Camellia triggers. I'm going to send to the graveyard a Naturia Sacred Tree. With this card, I can grab a Blessing. Then after that, we can go ahead and summon out our, well, no, we're going to use first the effect of Skeletal Soldier to bring back a Rikka monster from the grave. Then we can go for the Blessing, bring back the Mole Cricket. This was kind of useless. I should have just held my Blessing for the next turn, honestly, and synchro with it, but whatever. Here we make our Link 3, Ragnaraika Stag Sovereign. Sorry, I meant to say Link 5, Stag Sovereign, my bad. So the Link 5 is like 3,300 attack. Then we can shuffle back a card to summon our Link 3, which is 2,300 attack. And then after that, we can make our other Link 3, which is Selene Snapper. And this is enough damage for lethal. So just being able to shuffle back your monsters on the field to summon your links from the grave gives you the ability to go for lethal pretty damn easily on an empty board state. Otherwise, obviously, the Naturia cards are really good for control and stuff like that. But this was just really to show that, you know, the Ragnaraika engine has a lot of versatility and different use cases that are quite good. So I do think this engine is really solid. Even though it's not like a top tier engine or anything like that, I do think it's really good. But yeah, here we have plenty of damage for lethal. We get the graveyard effect also of the Samurai Beetle, and Samurai Beetle can bring back Camellia so that on opponent's turn, you know, if I like miss lethal here or something, if they summon anything, I could just bring back my Sunflower, get myself 2 monster negates, you know, on top of having a bunch of big bodies and stuff, and you know, a couple of hand traps. So, you know, just basically showcasing how much this engine can add to the deck in terms of consistency, in terms of just like the power to go for lethal, stuff like that. Not to mention the fact that you can recur your Camellios by shuffling it back in the deck being also a pretty important aspect of it. But here we go. At this point, I'm just going for lethal, basically. Sorry, I kind of tripped up on my words earlier with the Link 5, calling it a Link 3. That was my bad. But yeah, all in all, I do really like this engine, and I'm definitely going to be trying this in Master Duel, because any excuse I can get to play Naturia, I am taking. This is basically my favorite deck in the game, other than like Dinos, and even that, it's really close. All right, now the Ancient Gear support. There's not like too much to say here. This is a solid engine, but basically the whole idea is just to go for game using one of your like unaffected fusion monsters with a ton of attack. So like all these dudes, you know, they all have piercing damage, they all have like crazy attack numbers. You can go for Ancient Gear statue. If your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can just special summon this card from your hand, and then this card can like tribute itself to summon the Ancient Gear Dark Golem. Dark Golem can search 2 Ancient Gear cards from your deck, and then you can just discard one of them. So usually you'll be going like Ancient Gear Dark Golem, search Wyvern and Tanker, discard the Wyvern, then you can normal summon Tanker. Tanker can bring back Wyvern from the grave. Wyvern is going to search Ancient Gear Fusion from your deck, and then you can go like into Dugares, activate Ancient Gear Fusion. Since this card is treated as Ancient Gear on the field, basically you get to send materials from your deck to the grave, and so you can make like a Chaos Ancient Gear Giant by like sending 3 Ancient Gear monsters from your deck to the grave and this card on the field, and then you summon this dude. You double his attack with Dugares. He goes up to 9,000 attack. He can attack every monster on the field. He's unaffected by spells and traps, and during the battle phase, your opponent cannot activate monster effects, so it's really hard to stop him, and he can just swing into every monster and inflict so much damage that it's like, you know, good luck. The one problem is this card does not stop you from taking damage for something like Nightmare Pain, and so that's why I don't think this deck is going to be too crazy, mostly because of Yubel. And honestly, it goes even deeper than that, but you know, I didn't practice this deck enough to tell you like super deep plays with it, because I don't have a ton of faith in it, even though I do think it's awesome. Maybe we'll showcase it in a deck showcase. I know there's like Moz in my audience that's probably going to be trying this deck out in ladder, and he's probably going to figure some cool stuff out with it. But yeah, it's kind of hard to show you the intricacies of a going second deck against a bot, because bots are not doing anything optimal. So I can't show you like the advanced ways that you have to, you know, play around your opponent's interruption to be able to squeeze in your big fusion monster and go for game. But I guess I'll show you like a basic, you know, Ancient Gear statue combo going second into like a nothing body, just to show you the very basic stuff. So let's go check it out. All right, so here it is. We're going second, and our opponent is a bot playing, I think, like a Zodiac. Yeah, so they're going to set up literally nothing at all whatsoever, just passing on Tiger Mortar. So yeah, I'm literally just showing you what we can do into nothing. So they control a monster, we don't. We special the statue, a tribute to summon Dark Golem. Dark Golem is going to search 2 cards. I discard the Wyvern. Normal summon the Tanker, bring back the Wyvern. Wyvern effect, search Ancient Gear Fusion. I'm going to activate, we go into Dugares, activate Ancient Gear Fusion. We can make ourselves a Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, and then we'll just double its attack and swing for game, right? So 9,000, piercing, very cool. Again, I know, not a great showcase. Honestly, let's just move on. There's more to say about this deck, but I think I'd be better off just talking about it in a deck showcase or something at some point when I have like actual Master Duel replays against real decks. All right, and the last deck we're going to be talking about here is Genex, and this deck is so funny. It's like weak but broken. It's like the textbook definition of a broken deck that is not top tier, because basically you'll be summoning Genex controller using one of your normal summon Genex monsters, and basically all of your Genex monsters except the new Undyne and the new Turing are Stratos cards. They're gonna like this one searches a level 4 Genex, this one searches a level 1 Genex, and none of them are once per turn, right? So a lot of your combos are all about the fact that Repair Genex controller gives you an extra normal summon if a card is added to your hand. So the whole idea basically is that you normal summon a monster, you search a card, right? Like normal turbo, search a level 1. Then you're gonna link summon Genex controller. Genex controller on summon will add back your turbo from grave to hand. Because a card was added to your hand, you'll get to trigger the Genex controller's second effect, which is a monster was added to your hand, normal summon a Genex monster, and it's gonna give you like 20 normal summons in your turn. It is crazy because that is not a once per turn effect. So it triggers your normal summon Genex Turbo. Genex Turbo searches, let's say, Genex Crusher. Oh no, the Power Planner. and then you added a card to your hand, so trigger this again. Normal summon Power Planner. Power Planner searches a card because you added a card to your hand. Trigger this again. Normal summon. And then you add like Ally Birdman to that, and this card can like bounce a card to your hand to summon itself. So because you add that card to your hand, it re-triggers this, which means basically you want to fill up your field with 5 monsters, have a Birdman in hand, and then, you know, you make some synchros, you bounce one of your Genex back to your hand, and then you can start doing it all over again. Summon, search, summon, search, summon, search. It's endless. It's crazy. And the reason we're running cards like Ceravis and, you know, Crossout and all these things is because you really don't want to see Genex controller get negated. If it gets impermed, if it gets veilered, you really need to be able to stop them from negating Genex controller. It's extremely fragile, but it is extremely crazy and broken if you don't get interrupted on your controller. So let me just stop yapping about it. I'm going to show you a replay. You'll see this is like insane. All right, so you have a lot of 1-card combos with this deck. The one I'm going to be doing is a Genex Crusher combo, but honestly, there's so many 1-card combos for this deck. Like, it's insane. It's insane. You'll have so many lines to learn, but it's actually pretty straightforward once you get used to it. It's more so just a question of getting used to like the order in which cards are summoned. But here we go. So 1-card combo, right? Normal summon Genex Crusher. Genex Crusher is going to search our Genex Turbo. Then we can go into our link 1, which is Genex Controller. Genex Controller adds back to your hand the Genex Crusher. A card was added to your hand. Normal summon Turbo. Turbo, add a card to hand. A card was added to your hand. So you get another normal summon now. We're going to get to normal summon Power Planner. Power Planner is going to search a card. We get the Ally Birdman. A card was added to our hand. We're going to get another normal summon. We summon out the Genex Crusher. Genex Crusher searches another Turbo. A card, was added to our hand. So you summon again, and this just keeps happening. Search the recycled, summon recycled, and there we go. Now we're out of space. So this is where you want to summon a monster that won't search anything, because if you summon a monster that searches, you're not going to get another summon because your field is full, right? And Birdman is where that comes in, right? Because basically, now that my field is full, this is a time to start making synchros, and then I can bounce a Genex with the Ally Birdman added back to my hand, and that's going to trigger my dude, and then we can keep going from there. So yeah, the playstyle is really interesting. So here we make the brand new Genex level 10 synchro. This card technically can negate 6 monsters in 1 turn, but it has to do with the attributes. So you get to negate basically 1 of each attribute you have in the graveyard. So for example, you can negate like if you have like every single attribute in your grave, which this combo does set up, then you get to negate a dark monster, you get to negate a wind monster, you get to negate a fire monster, you get to negate a light monster, all once per turn. It's actually pretty damn good against hand traps and stuff like that. It's just that he gets on the field like too late, because basically, if your opponent had hand traps, it's very likely they already used them at this point in the combo. So it's not that crazy against it, but definitely it's a solid boss monster, and it's not the only boss monster you're setting up. Don't worry. So anyway, at this point, we go Birdman, add back the Crusher to summon Birdman, which triggers the Genex Controller, summon the Crusher, which searches the Turbo, and then we can go Turbo Effect to summon, well, I mean, go Controller Effect, summon Turbo, Turbo searches Power Planner, and then we can go Controller Effect and summon the Power Planner. Planner searches a level 3, so you add the Magma to the hand here, and now we're going to go ahead and make ourselves a Bryonac, the Magical Ice Dragon. This is a level 6 synchro that can add a card to your hand by discarding a card. So we discard the Magma. We now have a Fire Negate as well in the grave, and we add back our Genex Turbo. Card was added to hand. Summon the Turbo. Turbo Effect. Search Power Planner. You see what's happening here? You see what's going on? So summon Power Planner. Power Planner is going to search a level 3. We add the Birdman. Now at this point, we can go ahead and trigger the Arms of Genex return, and we can shuffle back into our deck the Ally Birdman, as well as in the grave the Power Planner and the Turbo, just to be able to keep looping them. So shuffle all those cards back. Now we're going to go for Birdman, bounce our Power Planner, trigger this, summon Power Planner, add another Birdman, and with these cards we can make ourselves a Baron de Fleur. Then we can trigger Birdman, bounce Turbo, summon Birdman yet again, summon the Turbo from the hand with the Link 1, search Power Planner. Then we can go and normal summon Power Planner yet again, go for Power Planner, search Birdman. You see what's happening here, right? Now we can make ourselves a Quantum Cyber's Dragon, and we're going to bounce again to summon Birdman. This card is basically going to stop your opponent from targeting anything on the field other than it with attacks and card effects, which makes it so you can protect like your Herald that you're going to summon here, as well as, you know, your other synchros and your Link Monster, etc. So here we summon the Birdman after bouncing Power Planner. Power Planner is going to search Magma.
So this is a starter for the grind game. So on the turn after, you have a magma that you can summon to do more searching and you know, more explosive plays. And with these two, you just make a herald, so you get a nice little floodgate on the field, stopping your opponent from sending cards from either deck or hand to the grave, making this a very strong counterplay against decks like Tearlaments that are going to be very popular in the next format. And keep in mind, they can't even go and beat over it until they get rid of the Cyber's Quantum Dragon. And to do that, they have to play through your multiple interruptions here, as well as this. So this deck does have like a pretty solid matchup into Tearlament, and probably pretty much almost every deck. And this deck also has even better combos than this. Here I showcased the Power Planner combo because that's the replay I had, but I kind of wish I showcased the Turbo one. This deck will be back on the channel, don't worry. If it's not like my own deck profile, it's going to be in a deck showcase, just showing you the full turbo combo, because you can also set up like a Visas Amritara and set up a counter trap on the field, which makes it so your deck is also, you know, Dark Ruler proof, which is kind of nice. So anyway, that's about it for the replays here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I mean, I hope it was at least helpful for the people that wanted to learn about these decks. There's a lot of new stuff coming to the game, and as you saw here, a lot of this stuff is actually really good, or at least solid. Yeah, this loses to Imperm, but like I still think this deck is most likely at least Rogue. Not to mention the fact that the consistency is insane, because you have like friggin' like 20 one-card starters in your deck. So, you know, there's a lot of good things going for this deck. So, you know, I still think this pack is not bad. It's just that we're probably going to see Tenpai and Fiendsmith coming pretty soon to the game in the next month or two. And so I do feel like this pack might be worth a skip for people that are free to play, or people that just aren't really too interested in these new decks. Now, I do think they'll have an impact. And I think, you know, if you want to play them, they're definitely not like awful picks or anything like that. So I am pretty excited to cover all of them when they come out. Hopefully this video is going to be a useful resource for you. And yeah, also, if you enjoyed this video, you know, make sure to drop a like, comment, you know, subscribe. And if you want to enjoy this video even more, maybe you should wait for Triple Tactics Tim to repost it and pause it every 5 minutes to tell you how right I am. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. All right, guys. See ya.